I do love good magnetic snap-on action on any device. Hey guys, I did the unthinkable. I've spent £600 on a note-taking device. Well, let's hope it's justified. If you've seen my live stream, you know that I was very excited about this thing. Now that the dust has settled, I guess it's time to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of Remarkable 2. By the way, if you do want to watch the optimistic version of me taking a first look, there is a live stream link in there. Go check it out. All my life I've been storing things in notebooks. I've got several of them and I keep leaving notes in there, which I can only index for about a week before I forget. Especially with me grabbing random notebooks and leaving notes all over the place. It's, let's face it, a bit of a mess. So one day, after going through one of my notebooks, I found the notes of a couple of interesting articles that I completely forgot, which prompted me to spend way too much money on Remarkable 2. This device, it's quite expensive. I've opted out for the following setup. Obviously I've got the slate itself, which is £400. Knowing myself and knowing how I work with a pen, pencil and eraser, I also opted out for a £100 pen instead of a £50 option, because I really wanted to have a eraser on this end of the device. I know, marketing to blame, right? And also after holding this for a couple of days, I've decided this is really pretty. And I probably should have spent straight away another £100 on a proper cover. And I know what you're gonna say, this is a lot of money, while I could simply use tools like Asana, Trello, or even invest in a tablet. But trust me, I've been there, done that. It's just having a physical item where you can take a note and, well, it's gonna bother you to check it, is something that always been working for me just great, and I was never consistent with online tools like Asana or Trello. So moving forward, I really hope that this, well, cute and expensive device is gonna fix all those problems. The hardware is simply remarkable. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous device. It's barely thicker than a USB Type-C port, which is located at the bottom of the device for charging, or the button at the top, which we can use to either put the device to sleep or power it on. It's made out of metal, and despite the ridiculously thin profile, you can comfortably take notes while holding the device in hand thanks to its rigidity. Inside you will find Wi-Fi connectivity. You can use either 2.4 or 5 GHz bands. Thank you very much for that. And there is a 6 gigs of storage. And I know 6 gigs of storage doesn't sound like much, but we're talking about notes and PDFs and whatnot. Time will tell how much of a storage it is. So far, I only used a tiny little bit of it. Thanks to the textured surface, it does feel like paper, so let's talk about writing experience. Other than gestures and menus, Remarkable 2 won't respond to your fingers, touches, etc. You need a designated marker. This marker stylus is, well, it's not powered, so it doesn't require any batteries, but you will need to replace the tips because they wear down. Now you are given 10 tips to begin with, and they are about £15 for a replacement set. Time will tell how long they're gonna last, but something tells me it's gonna be strongly dependent on how you use the stylus itself. I went with the more expensive version, which is the one with eraser at the back, something I tend to use quite a lot, so I thought it's gonna be a quite good investment. It feels really nice, it's textured, and I have no issues using it. It's also snappable to the edge of the screen, just as long as you remember it's just one of the edges only. But here goes immediate improvement. I would really appreciate that clip where you can clip in the pen into your pocket or something, because as it stands for now, it's quite difficult to carry it around like this. So how does it feel to write on it? It genuinely feels like writing on a paper, and you can trust me because I have a fine art degree and I've been through many different pencil types and many different papers. If you do want to test it yourself without splashing out, grab a 2B pencil and a 100 to 120 gram paper. It probably feels just like that. The marker pen can be transformed into 8 different tools. from pencils to highlighters and brushes. Now they're all gonna feel obviously the same on the surface, but it's a small price to pay for such a good, versatile tool. Now you can customize it further by selecting 3 line types, and some of the options come with individual colors as well. Now the pen is pressure sensitive, so you will be able to adjust either your strength of the line or the color of the line on the go by imitating different pressures. And to make that experience available to everyone, you can customize your tablet for left and right hand use. Now that you know that writing on this thing is absolutely gorgeous, let's talk about the display itself. I've used e-ink displays before. I mean, this is M-Paper e-ink display, which was quite responsive, enough to give you kind of ability to use the keyboard, but Remarkable 2 brings that to another level. It honestly blurs the lines between e-ink display and more traditional displays. It's fast, it's responsive, and writing with a stylus pen is just instant. There is no lag between your hand input and what's on the screen. It comes with all advantages of e-ink displays as well, so it's perfectly readable in a direct sunlight. You can take this device to a garden and enjoy a PDF or book and read through without being hindered by reflections or direct sunlight. Obviously that comes at the cost of inability to being read in the darkness because the device doesn't have a highlight. But that's a small price to pay, and I found myself often using this device when there is plenty of light around than at night. One of the things I've noticed is the partial refresh. It means that when you erase stuff from the display, you can still see a tiny little bit of outline until you fully refresh the screen. This happens when you either change the page or exit the document. And that's absolutely fine because it doesn't detract from the experience, and actually it gives some authenticity because the same thing happens when you're using an eraser to, well, delete the pencil. The setup was super easy and convenient as well. Create a cloud account and generate a code to paste on devices authorized to use Remarkable software. That's it. It only takes a couple of moments to set up, and synchronization happens automatically between the device itself and computer or Android app. Note-taking is divided into 2 different menus. There are quick notes, which basically give you a blank screen and unlimited pages to take notes on. They all group together, so you will have to either scroll through them or use the page view to navigate to the note you would like to use. Second way to take notes is using notebook options. They're slightly more organized. Each notebook will provide you with ability to use a template. It's a background to your notes, so you can opt out for lines, grids, or even sheet music if that's what you like. Now there are 64 different templates, but in all honesty you're gonna end up using probably 20 of them. And nice additions are more specific templates like a checklist or a week planner. Very useful. When you are connected to the internet, you can also use OCR capabilities. And the tablet is pretty good at transcribing the handwriting into a text. While it was handling my awful handwriting quite well, it doesn't really do well with the layouts. Unfortunately, you'll have to spend extra time working on that layout to match the original note. I wish that would improve. Remarkable 2 supports layers, which means there is a dedicated background layer for the template that you are working on, and your notes can be placed on the different layers. It will help you with moving things around, copying the content, or deleting or erasing individual layers. It's quite useful when you're editing bigger documents as well. Another cool ability is to actually live view your note. You can cast the note from your Remarkable 2 onto a computer which runs Remarkable software on the same network. You'll be able to annotate and display the content from your Remarkable directly. The feature is latency free, and well, you can share your notes with a wider audience this way. Apart from mobile app and desktop software, it also comes with Chromium Extension. That extension has a cool ability. You'll be able to click on any website and send the text of this website to your tablet, which means within a second or 2 you'll have a complete document of the text to read. Granted, there will be no pictures or advertising, but that reader-only mode is something that a lot of you would appreciate. Now, if you do want pictures, you can save the website as a PDF and export it directly to Remarkable app, which is going to synchronize that file as a PDF file onto your Remarkable 2 device. Very handy. One thing to note, while you can work with PDF files, mark them up, leave your comments, drawing, etc., you cannot directly edit or copy the text from the PDF file. It's a huge downside because I found myself in the need of copying a piece of text or a picture into a different note. However, it's only possible if you trace it over. And if you like reading too, while there is no associated store where you can purchase books, as long as you can export the books into EPUB format, then you'll be able to import those and read it on Remarkable tablet as well. I've been very positive about this slate so far, and overall I really like it, but there is a list of features that, well, let's just say they're unremarkable. First is the inconsistency between the software provided on a tablet and the options that you can have on a PC, for example. One of the most annoying ones is inability to duplicate multiple files at once. Now I can duplicate a single file, but as soon as I select second file, the option goes away. Now this isn't a limitation that is on a Windows PC, so well, the workaround is if you have a lot of duplications to do, you probably want to do it on a PC software instead. Another thing that bothers me is the fact that you can only register one Remarkable device per account. It means you won't be able to synchronize your notes, etc. to another device at the same time. I really wish they've changed it because it's often a nice idea to work on something in a collaborative way. One of the first shortcomings that I've noticed was inability to create your own templates. And I don't understand why, because this is such a useful feature. I mean, I do appreciate the 64 different templates available, but honestly, you're gonna end up using just a handful of them. And the ability to create your own SVG templates, that would be great, because as long as the framework with layers is already there, it shouldn't be that complicated, isn't it? And Remarkable community would definitely come up with cool layouts that everyone could import. The advertised battery life is around 2 weeks, but in reality it's more like 5 days. It's probably due to the fact that this device stays connected for most of the time. Now you can disable the Wi-Fi connectivity, but each time you want to synchronize the files, you will have to go enable the Wi-Fi, connect, and then synchronize your files, which is just annoying. I don't understand why there isn't an option to keep the Wi-Fi off and add a synchronization button that would connect to known Wi-Fi and synchronize the files for you. After all, for 90% of the time, I'm not using that internet connection, I'm just editing files. Speaking of synchronization, whether using an Android app or desktop app, you can't modify your files. You can only copy them, move, rename them, but you won't be able to add extra notes, etc. Which is also slightly disappointing because it would be very convenient at times to jump in front of a computer and add a text file. Which leads me to another point. Despite having virtual keyboard, you can't use that keyboard to actually add a label to your drawing, etc. All labels you would have to be written with a stylus pen. I honestly don't know why. It would be a very handy feature if you have a terrible handwriting and you just want to annotate something on the drawings you made. There's another thing that bothers me. Neither Windows or mobile app has the ability to convert anything to PDF. I mean, there is a plethora of different free apps that convert pictures to PDF so you could easily synchronize them. But I don't understand if you offer such an expensive device, you'd include an easy tool to take a picture and convert it to PDF so you could import it quickly. I mean, it's basic, guys. At this point, it should be part of the default app. Using Remarkable means that you're locked to Remarkable ecosystem. I would really appreciate a tool that lets you synchronize files to a Google Drive or something. That would be absolutely brilliant. I guess for now, I'm at the mercy of Remarkable and the software update. That's a really long list of things they should really improve upon. I mean, if not, competitors are already out there working on interesting devices to compete against Remarkable 2. And while Remarkable 2 has insane edge in terms of hardware, well, the software, it's not remarkable at all. Despite all shortcomings, I'm really happy with the device itself. I mean, granted, I'll have thousands of different workarounds to achieve the effect I want, and it would be so much nicer to get that functionality baked into a £600 device. but I guess I'm gonna have to wait for that. So if you're interested to know what's gonna happen with this and whether I'm gonna be happy with it 3 months later, then you know how YouTube works. I don't have to teach you that. You can use YouTube tools to do all that stuff, but I would strongly recommend you to follow me on social media so you get instant notification on what I'm working on, and well, get in touch with me as well should you need to. As for now guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.